Hi everyone! Today we meet again a new video on the channel Psychosocial Two Perspectives. We are happy to be back with educational videos that will help you learn a little more about the profession of social work. Today we will tell you a little about the history and development of social work in Mexico, which was an inevitable effect of great change in our country. We will go through the following points to give you a general idea of the consolidation of what we know today as social work, which will be forms of assistance and social actions, training of personnel in the social care activities, social state and creation of the Secretary of Public Assistance, reconceptualization in Latin America, and contemporary social work in Mexico. The forms of aid and social actions occurred at 5 moments in history. The first period comprised from 1521 to 1700 with the colonization of New Spain. The Spaniards will completely change the organization of the indigenous people, with the crown making the decisions. The hierarchies caused marginalization and with it the new problems and needs. This will be covered by the clergy, but with the idea of love of good or neighbor. The second period was from 1701 to 1820. The Habsburg dynasty and the revelation of the Bourbons influenced the creation of an ecclesiastical reform that aimed to reduce the power of the New Spain clergy and strengthen the authority of the monarchy. The emergence of the dominant class that was exploited in general and with it. Other social problems that needed to be addressed were unleashed, which is why many years later the independence of Mexico took place. The third period, approximately from 1821 to 1876, and so to configure a national state that will promote the economic and social development of the country through reforms, among which were those of welfare and education. In 1833, Dr. José María Luis Mora tried to organize the state-dependent welfare system and remove it from the religious sign, which later led to the creation of the welfare funds. The fourth period, from 1877 to 1910, was marked by the Porfirian mandate, in which agrarian societies and capitalist development were strained with foreign investment. But hacienda workers were harshly exploited, as were the workers. It was not until the creation of the 12 reigns of the Porfiriato that social policy actions were configured. The state will have to be the one to satisfy the needs and solve the problems. In the face of the discontent of the social backwardness, the Mexican Revolution movement took place, which, in spite of the training Porfirio Díaz from power, the consequences were reflected in a complicated panorama of political and economic disorder. The concern to address the problems was reflected in the educational, health, and public welfare service, which later became known as social assistance. Training of personnel in social care activities. At the beginning of the 1920s and until 1933, various institutions began to train personnel in social care activities, and the figure of the social worker began to be recognized. It was not until 1933 that the first Escuela de Enseñanza Doméstica y Trabajo Social was created attached to the CEP, and the 1934 a true social state was achieved with the arrival of Cárdenas to the presidency. In 1937, the Secretary of Public Assistance was created as a right and obligation of the state, leaving behind the idea of paternalist. The reconceptualization movement was in 1965 until 1975, which meant a paradigm shift. This movement was driven by academics, teachers, and students who questioned the theoretical, methodological, political, and ideological foundations of Latin American social work. The objective was to address and interpret social problems from their structural causes and thus visualize alternatives for professional intervention in order to overcome palliative and welfare action. This topic will be dependent in another video. Today, we find a contemporary social work that intervenes in many spheres of life and a current context, full of challenges such as the economic, political, and social crisis. Social work is seen as a scientific art that, through collective and innovative exercise of organization and social participation, research, diagnosis, planning, policies, models, plans, programs, projects are indispensable to possibly transform the needs and social problems felt by the population. That's all for today. Don't forget to like and share the video. See you in the next episode of Psychosocial Two Perspectives.